The Ottoman Empire and Germany's agreement, why it matters. In the aftermath of World War I, the Ottoman Empire was dissolved and replaced by the Republic of Turkey. This led to a series of events that eventually led to World War II. The Ottoman Empire and Germany's agreement is one such event that led to this war. The Treaty of Versailles was signed on 28 June 1919 in the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles outside Paris. By France, Great Britain, Italy, Japan, and the United States with Germany. This agreement also helped Hitler to get away with his aggression towards other countries at the time. Though the agreement was meant to restore some of the power that both countries lost during the Treaty of Versailles, it also helped Hitler strengthen his position and get away with his reckless aggression towards other countries. In addition to ending hostilities, it also declared Germany's unconditional surrender. This treaty is largely credited for the creation of modern Germany as well as causing a lot of tension between Germany and France. After the war, France's desire to take revenge on Germany led to them doubling down on their demands for reparations. The Treaty of Versailles imposed heavy economic and political burdens on Germany. The Treaty of Versailles gave France a lot of land and resources in Germany. In addition, it also disarmed Germany and stated they could not have an air force or military. This is what led to the tension between France and Germany. It was signed by the German government and the Allied forces of France, Great Britain, Japan, Italy, and the United States. The treaty ended everything that happened in World War I and officially ended all hostilities between Germany and her enemies abroad. The treaty also declared Germany's guilt for starting the war in violation of international law and obligated her to pay massive reparations. It was the final act of the Allies and Germany in World War I. The treaty set Germany's boundaries, imposed heavy reparations, mandated a harsh disarmament plan, and introduced a system of international arbitration over disputes arising from the treaty. It ended all treaties between Germany and her enemies, including the Triple Alliance. The Treaty of Versailles marked the end of World War I and set out the terms of peace between Germany and her enemies. How did the contract for construction of a railroad linking Constantinople and Baghdad arise? In 1854, the Ottoman Empire signed a contract with the British government to build a railway linking Constantinople and Baghdad. This contract was a result of the British-French War in 1853, which had led to many changes in the region. The railway was built only after World War I as a result of changes made by the European powers during that time period. The British signed a contract with the Ottoman Empire in 1868 to repair and maintain the railway. The Ottoman government decided to build a military railway line instead of repairing the existing one. The British government bought out the contract in 1875 before it was fully completed. The government was able to raise the funds but not after several public meetings and debates. The project was completed in 1892. The British government wanted this new railway line because it would be used for military purposes. The British government needed public support because they didn't have enough money. And so they began a campaign to raise the funds by persuading people that it would be beneficial in various ways. Most importantly, they held talks with local groups to have them convinced that it was a good idea. One major way in which the British government persuaded people to support the railway was by holding public exhibitions. The British government also persuaded people by providing ample funds for constructing the railway line. For example, in 1836 £45,000 was spent on building a line between Dublin and Belfast. In addition, the British government also used exhibitions to arouse people's interest in using the railway for commercial purposes. The exhibitions were also a way for people to learn about the construction process of public works, such as railways and canals. The exhibition was attended by members of parliament, industrialists, bankers, and prospective passengers. The railway was built with public money. The British government funded the construction of railways in Britain with taxpayers' money. In order to raise funds for building railways, the British government created the national debt in 1793. The British government also funded the construction of canals, such as the Grand Canal and the Kennet and Avon Canal. The British government created a tax called a navigation tax on goods which were transported by water. In 1811, there was an exhibition for canals attended by members of parliament, industrialists, and businessmen. So they decided to subsidize canals with taxpayers' money, and the exhibition was held in the hope of convincing people. The agreement to build the Constantinople-Baghdad Railway, how it was drafted and what it means for Turkey and Iraq. The agreement to build the Constantinople-Baghdad Railway is a treaty that was signed between Turkey and Iraq on October 16, 2017. It was drafted by the two countries with the help of the United States. The treaty is significant because it would open up trade between Turkey and Iraq, which would be beneficial for both countries. This agreement demonstrates a new approach to diplomacy in the Middle East. The construction of the railway will take 3 years with an estimated cost of $10 billion, which is funded by a loan from China. It would provide trade access between Turkey's Black Sea ports and Iraqi ports on the Gulf of Basra. The construction of the railway would allow for the transportation of about 50 million tons of goods annually, which is about 18% more than a similar route through Iran. Diplomatic relations between Iraq and Turkey were established in 1925, which led to trade between both countries. Trade between Iraq and Turkey increased from $2.1 billion in 2001 to around $5.6 billion in 2010, according to the Brookings Institution. The project is estimated to cost $13 billion and would provide a 500-mile-long railway from the Turkish-Iraqi border to the Iranian frontier. It connects the Turkish rail network with the Iraqi rail network through Iran. Turkey is going to invest $20 million on it and does not have any military intentions. There are concerns about whether the project will be feasible for both countries, as Turkey's track network is almost twice as long as Iraq's. In addition, there are reports that Iran has refused to allow Turkey to transport tankers through its territory. The project includes construction of a new railway line between Turkey's Diyarbakir and Iraq's Basra, worth $20 million. The train will travel from Ankara and cross a total of 6 countries, passing through Iran, Iraq, and Syria. Turkey is currently building a railway that connects the capital with Iraq's Basra on the Persian Gulf. The journey will take around 18 hours to complete. Stay tuned for part 2 of the secrets of the agreement to build the Constantinople-Baghdad Railway, and don't forget to subscribe, please.